Of course, today is the third anniversary of the injustice that was meted out second time to the spiritual leader, political leader, Abdul Nasser Maudany of Kerala. I got involved in this particular issue once I came to know the real reasons behind the arrest itself. As I was traveling in the train yesterday, I was thinking about what is that I will speak to those people who know all the issues surrounding Abdul Nasser Maudany, and also, more importantly, the issue of branding Muslim youth, the youth of the minorities, the youth belonging to the Dalits and the Adivasis, how they are being branded in this country under the so-called regime of democratic dispensation. I was just thinking, what is that I will be telling those young people who already know everything about how this state in India, and also more particularly in Kerala and also in this neighboring Karnataka, how they treat anybody and everybody who questions the authority, who questions the injustice around them. In my opinion, dear friends, Abdul Nasser Maudany is not only a victim of state conspiracy, he is also a victim of judicial conspiracy, he is a victim of social conspiracy, and more so, he is a victim of communal conspiracy in this country. In many states, we have different parties ruling. Like here, at the moment, the UDF, led by Congress. In Karnataka also, just very recently, we have kicked out Bharatiya Janata Party from power, and we have brought in a new government led by Congress. Earlier in Karnataka, you had the dispensation of a left and democratic front government led by the CPIM. But there is one commonality in all of these parties. I'm not trying to equate BJP with CPM. But when it comes to the question of dealing with the people's problems, there is one commonality in all these parties. They are not responsive to the democratic needs of the people. For example, soon after the new government in Karnataka came to power, many friends of mine in the activist circles, in the political activist circles, for those who claim themselves to be left and liberals, they thought their job is done and they will have a new era of justice and democracy for the people just because Congress has come to power in the place of BJP. There was a preemptive strike on the part of the BJP corporators and the assembly, the MLAs. As soon as the assembly was held, of the legislative assembly was summoned, a poisonous snake, a BJP poisonous snake, his name is C.T. Ravi, made a preemptive attack in the Karnataka Assembly that in the last 15 or 20 days ago there was the case of Abdul Nasser Maudany, the bail application of Abdul Nasser Maudany was coming up, and some of the friends in the Justice to Maudany campaign, we were preparing a case on humanitarian grounds as to why Abdul Nasser Maudany should be given bail because of the health reasons that he is facing, especially in relation to his diabetes and failing health in relation to the ophthalmic situation. They got a wind of it, and this snake of a politician played an attack in the assembly floor in the special question hour, and attacked the Congress government, saying that you are going to release Maudany. You are playing very soft politics to the so-called terror in this country, and you are practicing or continuing to practice the politics of appeasement. Immediately, the Home Minister, the new Home Minister of Congress Party, came and assured that there will be no such things going to happen to Abdul Nasari Maudany's case. By that conspiracy itself, one can see that there is a nexus between all the established parties, not just in relation to Maudany, but if you look at the cases around the country, be it Kabir Kalamanch in Maharashtra, Soni Suri's case in Chhattisgarh and Jharkhand, and yesterday, one Adivasi activist has been picked up in Chhattisgarh. Today I saw the post in one of our friends from Chhattisgarh, Xavier Diaz, posted that one Adivasi activist has been picked up under the National Security Act on the pretext that he belongs to the Maoists, because he is raising the questions on behalf of the Adivasis in that particular region. Their wage issues, their minimum wage issues is being raised by this young Adivasi, I forget his name, and he has been booked under NSA. Dear friends, there's nothing that I am going to tell you is a news to you. But what is very much evident from the happenings that have in the last, not just in the 3 years, even before that, in the earlier stint of 9.5 years, when Maudany ji spent his life in prison, it is his political acumen, it is his political strategy, it is his political approach to unite the downtrodden in this country, crossing the borders of religion, crossing the borders of community, and crossing the border of the caste. That is the threat to this particular establishment, and that is the threat that neither the so-called left, nor the right, nor the liberals want in this country to happen. It is that conspiracy, that is the political conspiracy. Here was a leader who was bringing the ethos, the morals, the preachings of not just of Quran, but of Narayana Guru, of Ambedkar, and also of the tribal leader and tribal knowledge of the tribal leaders of the Adivasis. And he was giving the clarion call of power to the awareness, and that was the threat, and that was the real threat, that the establishment in this country thought that he should be silenced and he should be behind bars, and the best way to do that is to give him the tag of a terrorist. Dear friends, I wonder sometimes, myself and my friends like Sasi and many others, we wonder that sometimes, yes, we are all peace-loving people. We are all very democratic-minded. But are we giving the right answers to these undemocratic methods of this government? Is our answer, is our strategy right? We are surrounded by the most undemocratic dispensation in the name of so-called democracy. Is this state a democratic state? Look at the case that we fought few years ago in relation to Dr. Binayak Singh. Look at the way things are being dealt in relation to the nuclear plant in Kudankulam. Look at the situation in relation to Jaitapur in Maharashtra. Look at the cases of Soni Suri and Kabir Kalamanch. Look at the valiant fight that are being fought by the Adivasis and Dalits in Odisha against the POSCO plant. Look at the fight that was fought successfully by the people against Vedanta. If the state was a democratic state, if the ruling class were really democratic, I think these struggles would not have taken place, and many would have been heard to and would have ended in success in pushing away the POSCO, pushing away the undemocratic MNC invasion, and also stopping the most dangerous Kudankulam plant. But that did not happen. For nearly almost 20 years, the villagers, the fisher folk of Idintakarai have been struggling. I've met many of the activists of the Idintakarai and Tirunelveli district. In fact, Solidarity, I know, that has been involved very heavily in creating solidarity for the Kudankulam struggle in Kerala itself. POSCO, 7.5 years of struggle. And today, leaders like Abhay Sahu, Narayan Reddy and many others are in jail, like Mr. Maudany. People's struggles, people's voices, democratic voices of the people are not heard today. And I wonder whether the response of ourselves, is it correct response, or we should be searching for other responses? My friends, when I watched the film done by K.P. Sasi, Fabricated, I was really astonished. Of course, anybody and everybody will be floored at the extempore, at the fluency of a public speaker in the case of Maudany. That was something very exemplary. I don't think in the post-independent India we have such a powerful speaker who can bring down the issues, the most difficult issues, in the most understandable language of the people, especially in Malayalam. But apart from that, the congregations to hear Abdul Nasser Maudany between 5 to 30,000 to 50,000 is something, I think, in my opinion, that we have not utilized to put pressure in a much more mass manner. No, I think the time, this is the third year. It's not the first stint, it is the second stint. And the world knows today that Maudany has been wronged. There is no justice in this particular case whatsoever. It's completely a hoax of a case. The tag of terror to Maudany is a hoax. It's beyond doubt. Only political imbeciles, illiterates can think just because the state says Maudany is a terrorist or he is somehow linked to terrorism. In my opinion, which would like to discuss with the Solidarity and other organizations around the Justice Maudany Forum, that we need to create new strategies to put mass pressure on the governments of Kerala, Karnataka and the central government itself, that this injustice has to end, and an unconditional release of Maudany, especially now when he is facing such a serious health problem, he must be released unconditionally. And I feel, friends, a new strategy of mass struggle has to be started. And I am sure that given the leadership here, it could spread, especially in a state like Karnataka. In a state like Karnataka, you cannot see the communal politics in the outside, but inside, in the fabric of the society, the communalization has taken place in a very big way. There is no state department, any government department which is not infiltrated by the majority communal elements in the society. Be it police, the home department, or the the judiciary, the courts. You all know, for a very long time, we could not find a lawyer to fight Maudany's case in Karnataka. It was a great struggle to find a lawyer within Karnataka to fight his case. And that is the extent. Even by the standards of natural justice, even though in a very professional manner, like a doctor cannot say that I cannot treat such and such a person just because he belongs to a caste or a community. If you go by that particular standard in relation to the judiciary, a lawyer or an advocate cannot refuse to take up a case just because he belongs to a different caste or a community. But that is the level of communal politics which is plagued in Karnataka today. Thanks to a stint of the BJP, thanks to a stint of the JDS, which invited the communal elements into the government by helping them to form a kind of a credible image to themselves. Dear friends, as conscious people, activist community in Karnataka, we are a small force, but it is our endeavor, it is our fervent endeavor that we will be doing everything possible in our capacity to struggle for the justice for Maudany and all other prisoners, political prisoners who are in jail unjustly. Some of us have formed ourselves a forum called the People's Solidarity Concern, through which we have already had few meetings. One big meeting, in fact, my friend Sharif was there in that meeting. The democracy, Indian democracy under threat, on fabricated cases. We had a big convention wherein we brought in very many speakers, and there was quite a big gathering, and we would like to continue. We have already started, we have launched the question of the film fabricated on the 22nd or 23rd of this month. Many leaders of the political forces, active political forces, people's political forces, Dalit leaders, Adivasi leaders, women leaders, trade union leaders, we are having a small meeting of just for the leaders to see the film fabricated, and on 31st of August we are having a mass meeting where we will be showing the film fabricated and launch a campaign within Karnataka, because we are faced with a very difficult situation in Karnataka, that even though BJP is out of power, but they are very active. They are very active. They can even storm a meeting. I don't think, even though I have an active life of nearly 30 years in political activism, I will not be in a position to hold a meeting publicly like this in Bangalore, because immediately the RSS and the BJP elements would attack us. But we are doing everything to launch a real campaign to start off with the help of the film fabricated justice for Maudany should be come about. I think with all the indications of a national campaign being launched, Comrade Sasi is traveling around the country to Pune, to Bombay, to Hyderabad, to other places in the coming weeks and months, taking the film. And we are sure, of course, it is already late. 3 years is a very big time in prison, and especially for a person who has already spent 9.5 years and came out where the judge said, "We are sorry, we don't have any case against you," and you put him again behind bars for another 3 years. At least in the next 6 months, not 1 year, at least in the next 6 months or so, we must create a campaign, create a struggle in such a manner that it will be difficult to keep Maudany in jail anymore. I think that is what this campaign should do. We must strategize for mass pressure now. Yes, we need to do seminars, public meetings, speak to people, but all that towards the end of getting the release of Maudany. And I think for that, towards that end, I think I would finish whatever I wanted to say, because you already know the situation much more. You are much more politically active than any one of us. So we need to strategize, create new strategies for the struggle to go ahead. And within 6 months, not really, Maudany should not be in jail by August 17th of 2014. He must be released. And we should strategize our struggle in such a manner and see that that great spiritual leader, that great political leader, that great speaker should be released before that. Thank you, comrades.